Hey everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. And yeah, I'm still alive. I managed to survive the free-to-play challenge. I completed it last night. And yeah, it felt pretty good to actually finish it. I have to admit, the worst part of the free-to-play challenge was Wednesday. Why was Wednesday so bad, you might be asking? Wednesday was awful because it was pretty much just before the halfway point of the mission marathon. And you're not really too close to the end, but you're far from fresh because you've been grinding for the first few days. Wednesdays is usually like a sacred day for me. Me and Tanya, we go out on a date night, usually go to the cinema, get some food and just have a good old talk. And I sacrifice that to be able to grind the Bourrasque on a free-to-play account. Yeah, Was it worth it, boys and girls? It took me about 41 hours in total, although I wasn't only playing my most powerful tanks, and I definitely wasn't tryharding all the time either. 41 hours, a lot of that also in stock vehicles. I managed to fully elite the Emil, I managed to pretty much fully elite the 53 TP. I managed to get a fair few vehicles actually just maxed out and in a really good position. I also got the 430. I managed to get the 430 elite, although, as you saw from my video on Friday, getting the 430 elite is not actually exactly the hardest thing you've ever done in World of Tanks, right? One of the reasons why that's such a darn good free-to-play tank and why I'm strategically picking vehicles like that. One thing that really annoyed me, however, was that Wargaming decided to make the Progetto 65 top of the tree during the mission marathon. That led to quite a lot of Italian auto reloaders just being incredibly aggressive. And when people are playing aggressively in auto reloaders, yeah, it can be a very ugly thing, right? But more importantly, it was the only tier 10 tank I actually had on my account. What's up with that? It could have been any other tree. That's the only line which I didn't have the tier 10 tank. If I had managed to do a top of the tree event, I would have probably got a tier 10 tank during it as well. So a bit of a shame that, but I'm not going to complain. Anyway, back to the subject of matter, and that is the Bourrasque. This is the vehicle that everybody has been losing their minds trying to grind over the last 10 days, or alternatively just got out their credit card and paid, I guess, the 50 euros or whatever it will cost to be able to get the entire bundle. Definitely not worth 50 euros, this tank. However, if you manage to complete 5, 6, and definitely 7 stages, I think it's a really good pickup to be able to get one, especially with the Brothers-in-Arms crew that the vehicle has. Although you only get 3 crew members on this tank, which is a little bit disappointing, but the vehicle is a perfect crew trainer for the French autoloading medium tank, the Bat Chat 25T, so yeah, it's alright. Was it worth it? Was 41 hours of my life worth getting this tank on my free-to-play account? No, if I hadn't been streaming, if I hadn't been, trying to make a few thousand people happy on Twitch, probably not. But all of the lovely messages that I received, cheering me on, and obviously all of the enjoyment, the fans, I guess, and all of the lovely people on Twitch were getting was probably just worth it as well. I definitely wouldn't have done this one if it wasn't for all of you to try and entertain. Yeah, I guess that's what the whole purpose of my videos are all about, right? And definitely what the purpose of my streams are about. I wouldn't have done this by myself. If I'd done this by myself, especially having already got several premium tanks on my account, it'd be an absolutely terrible idea. As I've said a few times on the channel, your first premium tank, most important. Second one, still important because your first one might suck out. It's got to a horrible stage on my free-to-play account where I'm kind of not bothered about it anymore, really. Just I don't need more premium tanks on this account. Although I have to admit, this one is actually a little bit special. I really love this tank's capacity to double tap. It's just an absolute outrageous amount of damage to do in such quick succession. The Panther 88 does on average 240 damage to me. I'll do 720 to them in 2 seconds, and then I have the mobility to be able to control the engagement and get away. Unlike I've been experiencing on my Emil the last 10 days, that's for sure. With the Emil, it's kind of a boom or bust kind of tank, a famine or feast kind of tank. The tank where it either goes really well or the tank where it all goes really wrong. Why? Because you've got 3 105mm rounds, 360 alpha on each, 1,000 damage that you can deliver in 6 seconds, although not the best accuracy, not the best aim time, and you have got 12 degrees of gun depression to make it work though. But the tank's just slow. It doesn't deal the largest amount of damage quickly. In fact, it's got the same alpha damage as the Bourrasque, which you're seeing now, but just a whole extra second on the reload. And so that means that the vehicle's just a little bit awkward. If you can't manage to get something, just one tank, you need one tank right in front of you. Not multiple vehicles, and you have to make sure that they stay there. You have to make sure that they don't then rush you after you fired your 3 rounds. Then sure, on a ridgeline the Emil can be great. But I think the Bourrasque is just so much more flexible than a lot of other autoloaders that I've been playing. And that's why I've been enjoying playing it on my main account, which you see here. And I've got all of the bells and whistles on this one with the premium consumable, which I never use on my free-to-play account. And more importantly, all of the view range that I have. Wow. Situational awareness and recon on this vehicle really help for being able to engage at decent distances. And even with coated optics and vents on this vehicle and a Brothers in Arms crew, I'm only getting up to about 446 meters view range on my free-to-play account. That's outrageous. It's hilarious that free-to-play account without the premium consumable that you see over there on my 6 key right now just can't really get the vision. And that's the main thing that I've been noticing over the last couple of weeks is just how pay-to-win the view range and concealment is inside World of Tanks and allows players with premium accounts and premium crews to do things that free-to-play players just can't. But the Bourrasque still. What's not to love about this? 1, 2, in 2 seconds, you know, dealing the damage. And, oh, why don't you die? He's got 3 hit points left, and I rolled for 296. Oh, my lord, that's unfortunate. And taking that extra shell from the standard B now means that I'm a one-shot for all of the rest of the enemy tanks. So right now, cap circle. Do we need to control it? Well, I've got time. I think I can probably get the 111-14 and still be able to make it back in time. And considering that the enemies are not capping, that suggests to me that they've probably turned around to try and finish off the Type 5 Heavy and the Emil 2 as well. Hopefully, we can go and assist our Type 5 Heavy or assist our Emil in the situation. I'm quite surprised at the Progetto on my team, and by the way, the Progetto's been doing a great job. It's been fun playing with you, Nico20. It's a bit of a shame that you didn't quite manage to put an extra round into that Type 5 Heavy earlier on, but then again, it was also great that you came and assisted me with the Panther as well. Alright, so engaging against a T10, all I really need to do right now is try and keep him at about 400 meters. He'll never spot me at 400 meters with a 30% concealment rating that this thing has, I believe, while moving, at least on my main account, but I'll definitely see him at 400 meters. That's for sure. So it's all about imagining the rings on your mini-map, or you don't have to imagine them because they're staring there in your face, but imagine that there is a series of other rings on your mini-map that are not just at 445 meters, but at 400 meters, 360 meters. For me, it feels easy to work within 440, 400, 360, because I just imagine the different tanks having about 10% camo, 20% camo. For example, a medium tank, a really big medium tank on the move with a really bad crew will have about 10% concealment when moving. A big medium tank with a good crew, maybe about 20% concealment when moving. Some of the more sleek vehicles on the move, 25, and the really, really sneaky medium tanks will have about 30 when moving. Light tanks, it ranges anywhere from about 30 up to about 45 on some of the vehicles. And so what I do is I imagine just taking off 40 meters view range off that circle, 10% each time, compared to what my view range will be. And that's what a lot of World of Tanks is, at least when you're playing your light tanks and your medium tanks, is not just relying on the 2 circles that you see, but imagining. And you can also use the grid on the map to help you as well. Remember, each one of those cells on the map is going to be 100 meters. You can use them to gauge whether the enemy is likely to spot you or not. And this really is just the speciality of the Bourrasque. 1, 2, and enough mobility to avoid the fight. That's why this tank is definitely one of my more favorite vehicles on my free-to-play account. I enjoy playing this thing free-to-play way more than I do my EBR-75. I think the EBR-75 is a great tank, but I think it's incredible pay-to-win. The Bourrasque, on the other hand, while it will definitely be better pay-to-win, I don't think it's entirely necessary on this vehicle. And I think that while you're definitely going to do better with a premium account, with all of the advantages that you get with it, this is still a good free-to-play vehicle. And just christening the Bourrasque on stream yesterday, even on my free-to-play account, and playing, I think, 5 or 6 games, even in the very tired state that I was, I can instantly see that this is a great tank, irrelevant of how much of a gold noob you are. However, of course, the penetration on the vehicle, rather abysmal, with 190 millimeters of standard pen, but it's not that bad for a tier 8. That's what tier 8 medium tanks used to have back in the day. Now, of course, you feel like you have to have maybe more like 220 or 230 to feel like you have decent standard pen at tier 8. So the Bourrasque challenge on my free-to-play account, was it worth it? Probably not for the 41 hours. No, I have no need to have more than 2 or 3 premium tanks on the account. But this one's definitely one of my more favorites now. I think my favorite is probably the Renegade, then it'll be the Bourrasque, then it'll probably be the EBR-75, and then I'll follow it up with the TS5 on that account. But one thing is for certain, wargaming, the amount of time that even a decent player has to invest in a mission marathon to be able to get the tank for free is completely detrimental to the rest of their life. And if anything, I'm enjoying World of Tanks less right now than I was doing before the mission marathon. So this was an ace tanker for the Bourrasque, something that's quite tricky to do so at the moment in this vehicle. On my free-to-play account, I managed to get about 1,200, 1,300 base experience, and I don't think it was even a first class. But on my pay-to-win account, 1,741 was enough to get an ace for the 4 kills, 5,600 damage, and a very decent profit with or without a premium account, as we didn't need to fire too many premium rounds inside this game. It's a great vehicle, dealing 720 damage within 2 seconds of the first shot, and then having the speed to be able to get away. If you know your light tanks, if you know your medium tanks, it's a good tank. And I think I would probably recommend picking this vehicle up if you've managed to complete 6, more likely 7 stages of the marathon. And if you haven't, it's your money. You know what to do with it. I think there are probably better vehicles out there, especially like the Progetto, that will definitely have more clout inside Frontline. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it's released on Sunday, then it's time to be back onto my pay-to-win account, and also for another Tech Tree showcase. And this week we are going to be showcasing the Kranvang, the tier 10 Swedish auto-loading heavy tank, which I'm very happy about because I've just played a lot of a mill on my free-to-play account, and I can't wait to see what it's like when I have all of the bells and whistles on the vehicle. Also, this tank is going to be top of the tree very soon on the European server, and so if you want to know what you have to look forward to, and you want some advice about all of the different vehicles, which ones maybe I would skip, or alternatively how to play the top tier autoloaders, then come along. I'm going to share everything that I know about the line with you so you can get a great head start for the top of the tree. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing as many of you as possible right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby, and as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.